to talk for just a second about parenting styles, okay? Parenting styles of how you work with your kids, how you discipline your kids, how you enjoy your kids, or if you don't enjoy your kids. And I'm obviously not an expert in this. I don't have a degree. I am kind of proudly not college educated. And yet in an age of information, I don't need to be, right? I can access any number of experts with lots of different opinions at the touch of a button. So I found as I was doing a lot of research for starting this business that I joined Facebook groups, parenting groups, and educational groups, and wanted to know as much as I can about what the issues were out there, because we're all in our own little bubbles, we all have our own little experience, and I wanted to see what was going on outside of my own little bubble. So when I did that, I was absolutely kind of really shocked. I was shocked at what some of the parenting philosophies are out there and how very disempowering a lot of these philosophies are to helping parents to really just work with their children in such a way that they have some level of control and they have some level of enjoyment. So much of what I read on myriads of sites and in books and articles really was terribly disempowering, and it was very sad. And so I thought a lot about this and decided that a good place for everybody to start if if you're having a lot of issues in your family is to start with parenting style, because that answers a lot of questions. Now, usually what happens is, as a parent, you're going to pretty much copy whatever your parents did. And even if you had parents that were bad or abusive, and maybe even especially if you do, you're gonna copy those patterns because it's the only script you have. And it takes a really concentrated effort to change those patterns. It's really almost superhuman. Well, for myself, I'll reveal that I had quite a bit of abuse in my growing up, and I knew in my head that I did not want to perpetuate those patterns. And yet when it came right down to it, it was a little harder day to day to rewrite that script. But I want to tell you that it's totally possible. Well, one of the things I did do was to read some books on parenting. And I found that the philosophies of, never hurting your child's feelings or, setting high standards for them were not popular anymore. Are popular. That we should simply care about their feelings and always make sure that they never have any kind of trauma of any kind. And trauma now is if your child's throwing a tantrum in the store, that you carry them out of the store and put them back in the car and take them home. That is supposed to be very traumatizing to a child. And there's a whole lot of philosophies out there that completely disempower and are just impractical in real life for today. So starting with parenting style helps each one of us to just start thinking deeply about what we do and why we do it. And how we can improve upon that is just simply tackling the most pressing issues that we're having with disciplining our children every day. Now, one of the things I'm going to tell you in my program is that you, as the parent, are the sovereign. You are sovereign, and you don't need to answer to anybody else. You don't need to answer to what society is telling you to do, what that parenting Facebook page is telling you to do. And I have ultimate faith that every parent who truly loves their child is going to figure it out. I know I did, and I had a long way to go. And if I can do it, anybody can do it, right? I didn't have any mentors helping me figure this out. I simply kept my eyes open, and I studied and read a lot until I understood what my own personal philosophy was and how to, which is independent of what I learned growing up, and how to work with each one of my children in a way that was the best for them. And that's another aspect of why starting with parenting style and researching that, taking some quizzes online and sharing them with your kids and talking about them, why that's so valuable is because if you have more than one child, you're going to find out that one reaction to a situation is not appropriate for the next child, and that sure turned out to be true in our family. So this is the thing that I'm going to teach you in my program and help you to understand the importance of just starting where you are and not worrying about where you think you ought to be or where society thinks you ought to be or where your mom and dad think you ought to be or your brothers and sisters, but start where you are. Start and give yourself a lot of patience and grace to improve on those places where you're weak or where you think you're weak or with the things that are not working well in your family or with your kids. But do spend time on it on a regular basis. Make sure that you have set aside time when you can really think about it and you can make a plan for change. The important thing is that we are making a plan and that we're improving all the time. There's nothing that gives, as a parent, gives us more satisfaction than really feeling like you're competent, like you're a competent parent, like no matter what comes at you, you may not know how to deal with that right now, but you're gonna find the answers. And surrounding yourself with other parents who are like that and who are going to be a support to you. I went through a period with one of my children that was, pardon the noise, doing some construction in my house down below. I went through a period of time with one of my children that was very difficult. He was trying to figure out who he was and making a lot of mistakes, and that was okay. But the hardest part about it was not he and I dealing with each other. The hardest part was how some of my friends dealt with the issues and ostracized him, or it didn't allow him to be friends with their kids. Even though he's a good person and he had a lot to offer, he was really harshly judged at that time. And that's just not helpful. So surround yourself with people who you can talk to and you can share with them some of your challenges as a parent and ask them to be your support and ask them to help you in your plan, to help you with kids, especially if they're having some challenges. Look, there's so much more for me to teach you about how to be effective as a parent, not only, even if you aren't going to home educate your children. There's so many things you can do. Goal setting, just simple goal setting or setting aside time that you are going to just be with your child and talk about their interests and genuinely connect with them. Get off the screens, get away from friends and just be the two of you so that you can have lasting memories with your child, and not just on a once in a while vacation basis, but on a daily basis and on a weekly basis. I would love to share more of this with you if you have any interest. If so, join my community and let's get started.